Breaking news. It has been approximately 4 months since the last Genshin court. Many Genshin criminals have seen fit to break out of prison. And there are still many to be convicted in this era of Dendro, where the game is as complex as it's ever been. Free-to-plays are in danger. Low spenders are in shambles and whales are jumping for joy. And in this wake, there is only one question on everyone's minds. Where is Flip?
For Ayaka, the reason why I supported the idea, let's go for Ayaka, she's cute, is because she can support. She is the best pyro support in the game right now. And then for the last character, I would like you to use Nahida. In this team comp, Nahida is irreplaceable. If you go back to range slasher, he might be doing more damage, yeah? Ito's weapon is not gonna do anything good.
Hello there, Flip here, and today it is finally here. We are going through with another part of the Genshin Court series, in which today our victim, oh wait, careless choice of words. The person set on trial today is another prominent figure in the Genshin community, who has been around since the game's release making content and even appeared in an official Genshin livestream. And yes, I'll assume you've read the title, it is none other than Tenha. And for those of you who don't know what the Genshin Court is, or what it entails, the TLDR of it is that we'll be trialing certain Genshin content creators based on their takes on certain characters or the game in general, and give them a fitting sentence accordingly. But before you do that, as always, if at any point during the video you're entertained or informed, make sure to drop a like and even consider subscribing, as I talk on various topics regarding Genshin meta and I'll try to keep you updated. And now, Tenha. If you're familiar with his content, surprise surprise, he's another whale content creator who does a lot of content relating to doing showcases of characters with extremely high investment, which is fine, but he does occasionally try to give advice or recommendations, and in some cases do account reviews, which with his severe lack of game knowledge doesn't necessarily pan out amazingly. I just want to say for clarity here, so my comments aren't a war zone. No, Tenha most likely isn't trying to do anything malicious. It's just general cluelessness on Genshin's meta, which I do think isn't a bad thing. It's a video game, you don't need to know the finer details about it. The problem occurs when you're giving out this info to other clueless people who will now spread the word as they trust their favorite Genshin content creator, which is then when I think you need to be held to a higher standard. But besides that, out of the hours of Tenha content I've watched, I don't see any massive biases like it goes with Zekapoko, Valk, or I Win to Lose. I just see the embodiment of the clueless emote, which let's just talk about it in the first piece of evidence, which happens to be an account review.
Okay, so you have an artifact problem as well. 5, which is great. Your Xingqiu stats are horrible. However, you have Yellen, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna trust you with the artifacts, okay? I know that your main is Diluc.
You just saw his Xingqiu. I would not trust bro with the artifacts. Also, this is for an account review. You only briefly looked at the builds and didn't even tweak anything despite finding the flaws. This person's Zhangling and Bennett are absolutely starved for energy recharge, so that would be the most obvious thing to address even besides stats. They must have also additionally taken M-Tash's advice of running Fading Twilight on Yolan when Favonius Bow is right there. You aren't going for a world record split, you can slow down a lot.
In this case, I would like to put Xingqiu, so having Bennett in here would complete the team. Okay, you know what? Let's go with this. Let's see how it goes.
You know what? Despite the bitching I saw in the comments, the first team is honestly fine if you tweak the gear of the characters a bit. The second team, however, Raiden is still on a crit build. Why are you playing her on Hyperbloom? Also, what's the fuck is Gonyu doing there?
Oh, let me rebuild the team because this is too much pyro and then your Xingqiu is not doing much. Let me take out Xingqiu and then put in Yelan instead. Okay.
The only thing you had to do was switch Yelan and Xingqiu. What mess have you just created? Zhangling was perfectly fine. Gonyu makes the team worse here. Both her and Diluc want to be on field, and unless that is a Favbo Gonyu, she isn't bursting very often to apply cryo. And even if she was, Gonyu's cryo application isn't that amazing regardless. And I'm not even gonna bother with the genetic mutation that is that second team. Why did you even mention Bennett's ER if you didn't bother to fix it? You removed Zhangling. You made his energy problems worse.
We need energy charge on Bennett.
Wow, this team has crippling energy issues. Who would have suspected that?
I would say your Bennett is more based on healing than his damage. His damage potential is very good, so if you can 36 star, you should definitely build your Bennett as a DPS.
Yeah, no more original thoughts for you. Bennett being on a healing build isn't the biggest concern here. It is of course going to be a damage increase, but want to know what's an even bigger increase? Having energy recharge to burst. Depending how tight you are on artifacts, it's honestly better to just ignore Bennett's damage and just build your other characters. His damage isn't that relevant for 36 starting Spiral Abyss, unless you're using him as an on-fielder.
You have some critical damage here and there on the Flower and Feather. 58, 102, okay.
He has even less energy recharge than before.
Maybe if you go back to Rain Slasher, he might be doing more damage, yeah? Ito's weapon is not gonna do anything good.
You're a whale! This is the first time I've seen a whale downgrade from a 5-star weapon to an actual worse option. The Rain Slasher isn't even R5. Assuming you have Bennett, which is what you should be doing for Diluc regardless, Redhorn shits on all weapons Diluc can have besides an R5 Serpent Spine. Also, just in case anyone wants to say that he was doing this to give it to Ito, no, he does that afterwards. He generally thought an R4 Rain Slasher would do more damage than a Redhorn here, which just isn't the case.
First half, we want to have Ito, but is your Goro C6? Probably not, right? So let's just do this. Bennett, Raiden Shogun. It's so hard to choose the 4th character in this account. Whatever, man. Put Traveler. DMC good.
I'm going to cry. To be fair, I also wouldn't use Mono Geo in this case either. Goro isn't C6, which wouldn't be that massive of a problem in isolation, but this account also doesn't have some of the better Geo characters to make Mono Geo strong enough, to where I think it could reasonably clear without a lot of luck. If you want to know what I would have done, I would have run the Diluc national team he ran before, but I would have given Jangling Catch, put Yelan on the team with Favonius instead of this Rancid, and leveled Bennett Sans to 20 and also look for more ER pieces. For the second team, I would have used the Scuff Sucrose Hyperbloom, I guess, Sucrose, Jingcho, DMC, and Raiden, and I would have given Raiden a Favonius Lance on a full EM build. If you don't know how to build basic teams and then cater to what the team wants, you should not be doing account reviews. It just spreads misinfo and more damage has been dealt to whoever poor soul this account belongs to. Gotta love how he equips a Rain Slasher, which gets a lot of benefit from its passive, and then he runs a Vape Melt team, which can't utilize the passive at all. Also, Diluc without Bennett is absolutely insane.
You need to build your Bennett as a DPS. You need to build all those basic supports as a DPS.
Why is he selling Bennett DPS so hard? It is one of the most inefficient things to do if you can't clear.
I would suggest you go for level 90 characters that you can use in Spirit Abyss.
Speaking of inefficiency, this is not the reason they couldn't clear. For a lot of characters, the jump from 80 to 90 isn't as relevant as other things you can do, like upgrade talents, level up weapons, etc. There are some niche cases for some EM scalers like the Onimo characters, and even then, you still ideally want to keep them at 80 and level other characters up there as well.
So if you don't know how to build a character, you should definitely watch my guide videos and learn how to build them.
Your guide videos from 2 years ago? Not the greatest of ideas, but he does also point out his showcases, so maybe we should look into that for another piece of evidence. That will close out this piece of evidence. As I said, Tenha just has a massive knowledge gap, and when it comes to team building, or even just his reviews in general, it really seems he doesn't care about actually trying to improve or help these accounts. He went in with a very limited scope without checking or adjusting builds for the characters he planned to use, and on top of that gave misleading, misinformed, or meaningless information that most likely damaged the account more. This is quite a clear conviction of professional negligence, which fortunately for Tenha here, is only a charge for damages done to this poor person's account. Now, as Tenha kindly requested himself, let's look into his guides to see what he can cook in our second piece of evidence.
He's got this little really nice patterns. He also has a vision on the left arm, and I don't know what those blue leaves mean, but yeah, that's him. He's basically him. I would like to say that he is one of the best looking male character in the game so far, and I have a feeling that if he's really built well, if his kits are really good, Alhaitham could be selling really well.
Wow, you can almost just feel the MiHoYo partnership contract. I don't know how much of a tell this is, but apparently MTash was told that he can't be too negative of characters or the game if he was in the partnership program. So if you ever see any of these creators making guides or analysis on characters and they had beta access, maybe just look over the videos with a lot more scrutiny so you aren't getting baited.
Your normal, charged, and plunging attacks will be converted to dendro damage, and it cannot be overridden, which means you can use Alhaitham with Bennett if you wish.
Don't do that, please, I'm begging you, please do not do that.
If there's another dendro character or other character that has dendro set, then yes, Gilded Dream is going to be 100% the best set for him. However, I know that a lot of you guys would be like, oh, so then which one is better, right? You could use either. As long as you do enough damage to a point where you can just get 36 star in Spirit Abyss, then the set doesn't really matter.
What kind of advice is this?
His C1 has a very good value. This constellation is what I need right now on Alhaitham. If I have this, then I can get more particles, and then I can probably use Q faster, E faster.
In actuality, his C1 does nothing really if you're looking for an upgrade. With how long Alhaitham's skill cooldown is regardless, you probably still are going to ideally want to use one skill anyways. And if you do use 2 skills in a rotation, congratulations, you have just fucked over your next rotation, which will just snowball until your cooldowns are misaligned. This constellation is just for general quality of life like most constellation ones are.
Him generates a chiseled light mirror. His elemental mastery will be increased by 50 for 8 seconds. Max 4 stacks. Look, look, look. That kind of solves the puzzle here. I was like, how the f do you get 1000 EM with Alhaitham, right? So what I mean by 2 cycles, I'm gonna be wasting his Q and then like do some rotations. Let me waste my Q first. Okay, so with Nahida, this is not enough, it seems like.
Where do I even start? First, bursting every rotation for Alhaitham isn't that necessary. All his burst does is offer pretty mediocre dendro output and give you mirrors that you can build in other ways. The best way to use his burst is at the start of a rotation so you can instantly get 3 mirrors and maintain this for a good amount of field time. Also for quickswap team, since his mirror appears after 2 seconds, in that window you can actually double swap to use a skill quickly and then go back to Alhaitham to get the mirrors. Don't do what Tenha did because there's no point in using his burst just to fuck off to other characters.
How can we make this better? I would say, instead of using Nahida, you could be using Traveler, and then make sure that your Alhaitham gets some kind of energy here and there.
Again, Tenha, it seems you forgot. You are away! Why are you recommending DMC over Nahida in this case? You seem to love putting Nahida in teams where she doesn't do anything.
So Wanderer, as an on-field DPS, is lacking a lot. This is what I prefer. You could either use C6 Farazan or C0 Farazan. Put either Yalan or Xingqiu. And then for the last character, I would like you to use Nahida.
What?
In this team comp, Nahida is...
But the moment Nahida is one of the actual best partners for someone, Dendro main character. And it's even worse because Nahida generates more energy than DMC, especially since you can also swap to Nahida less in a rotation as she demands less field time. So I've seen it all. And that concludes our second piece of evidence. I thought cluelessness was the main problem, but after this character review, I'm not even sure Tenha knows he's playing Genshin. Like, even when Tecton used to play Genshin, at least we could see how he came up to his conclusions, because he would explain a lot more. But Tenha will say something to the equivalent that the earth is flat and refuse to elaborate. 2 years in the slammer with parole is in place for undisclosed paid promotion, and you will only be able to achieve said parole if you do well in the assigned remedial classes, since it seems you could use the support. Well, enough of that, let's move on to our final piece of evidence for today, which will be another account review, guest starring Tenha's chat.
While we're using this account, we can probably see how well their characters are built. Okay, they're strong. I don't understand why he couldn't get 36 stars already.
Not to be that guy, but it's floor 9. Also, again, you've just gone into the review almost completely blind. If you were to just complete the Dude's Abyss, what would they have gained? You aren't doing any of the reviewing part, you're just playing the game for them.
Maybe he doesn't know anything about the team compositions.
Damn, he's just like you for real.
Zhongli, Xiao, Raiden, and Fischl. You would definitely want to use Nahida, right? Because Nahida is Pog. Xingqiu, Benny, Hu Tao, Nahida. Because we have a Hu Tao, and he probably spent a lot of resource using Hu Tao, right? So, okay, let's do that.
It's actually genuinely impressive at this point. You have an all-star roster on this team, and you go with Hu Tao Nahida, which is just going to mess up vapes, and then Zhaoden. It's floor 10 anyways, it should work, I guess.
Alright, retry. I'll give you one more chance. Yola, Fischl, Kazuha, Diona. I don't understand that, but sure.
Some people have said in my past Genshin courts that I can't actually prove that creators do affect the way viewers build teams and whatnot. But if this and all the other teams his chat has built isn't proof enough of that, I don't know what else is. Tenha builds his team around an on-fielder and random strong supports usually, which is exactly what his chat has also been doing. This is why I always say that if you're a creator marketing yourself off of being able to help free-to-plays and low spenders, you should at least know the basics of team building so you aren't just spreading misinfo.
Do you guys want another chance? Let me just pick one. Okay, let's try this. It looks actually great, it seems like.
Never let bro in the kitchen because he does not know how to cook. Again, it's just weird because for both teams, he has 3 strong characters that synergize well, and then he just messes it up with the 4th slot. What is Nahida doing for Yoimiya? There is a level 90 Zhongli right there, and same case for Jin on the top team. The Rai Fisher court is very flexible, you could have used a lot of characters there, especially the Nahida that's on the bottom half.
Please, calm down.
Hold on, did y'all catch that? Fischl is on a hunter's bow. You know, an issue like that could have been foreseen quite easily if he did the reviewing part of an account review.
I think you would be okay if you play on PC, but if you play on mobile only, then you might have a problem. However, this account itself is really good, and I don't think there's anything for me to comment.
Good on Tenha that he managed to clear, but like, where was the review? It's been established that this person is a mobile player, meaning they're going to have a lot more issues mechanically and technically. And you yourself said that this is a fluke clear that they wouldn't have been able to replicate easily. In that case, unlike what you said, there is a lot of stuff you would need to comment on. Your philosophy in your previous account review was to grind until you can clear comfortably without perfect rotation. You have basically just walked all over that here. Tell them what characters or weapons to build, what characters they should prioritize getting. Look at the stats and establish 2 strong teams to focus on. What did you do for this person? As a wise man once said, give a man a fish and you will feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish and you will feed him for a lifetime. Download Genshin and you will be bitchless for an eternity. And that will be our final piece of evidence concluded. For the crime of false advertising your account reviews as well as misleading many young aspiring Genshin hearts to the dark side, there will be an extension of 3 years to your prosecution as well as having to watch my wonderful team building guide in order to have the basics of team building grasped. So you can help your viewers a lot better and not be perpetually clueless. And with that, court is now closed. The long-awaited Tenha court is finally done. Sorry guys for making you guys endure that long wait. In return, there will be another Genshin court in around 2 weeks maximum in which I'll be courting. Sorry, I had no idea what that was, but hopefully what I said made it. And hopefully you will be subscribed for the upcoming court. All in all, Tenha is okay. His meta videos only seem to be made when new banners are upcoming, and even then, sometimes he just stays very lukewarm with his takes, which I think is a much better approach. Just do not listen to any of his team building advice and you should be good. And on that note, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe and comment what your thoughts are on Tenha, as I'd love to hear that and I respond to almost every single comment. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your man. You be capping like a snitch, no thoughts, no stamps. New hoes, 10 toes, new guac, new bands, new whip, new chips, new kicks. Jackie Chan, how she pay? Bad bitch, no bag. I just hit another lick and she be counting in my racks.